Dear students, last class we discussed about properties and uses of alkanes. So alkanes are saturated hydrocarbons. Next we move into the unsaturated hydrocarbons. So we have alkenes and alkynes, both are unsaturated hydrocarbons. In today's class, the UPAC nomenclature of alkenes, isomerism exhibited by alkenes, preparation and physical properties of alkenes. So these are the things are going to be discussed. Page number 190 to 193. So the general formula for alkene is CnH2n. For alkane we already studied CnH2n plus 2. So for a unsaturated hydrocarbon alkene, the general molecular formula is CnH2n. So n represents number of carbon atoms. So we have to start from number 2. Instead of n, substitute number 2, 3 and so on. You will get the members. So what is the homologous series? Alkenes. By substituting value 2, 3, 4, 5, you will get the members of homologous series. So you substitute number 2, you will get what is the formula? C2H4. So that is the first member of homologous series, ethylene. Common name ethylene. UPAC name is ethene. What is the next member? C3H6. So it's called a propene. Common name propylene, UPAC name propene. So like alkane, for alkene also we have a general formula CnH2n. N represents number of carbon atoms. By substituting the numbers 2, 3, 4 and so on, we will get the members of homologous series. And what is the primary condition for an alkene? At least one double bond should be there. Between the carbon atoms, at least one double bond should be there, so that it is an unsaturated hydrocarbon. And this is the old name of alkenes. Olefins are nothing but alkenes. So in Latin language, olefins means oil maker. You take the first member of alkene, that is ethene or ethylene, which is combining with chlorine gas, it will produce oil-like liquid. So that it is called olefins in Latin language. Next, UPAC nomenclature of alkenes. So we have a formula to write the UPAC name. What is it? Prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. Whatever may be the organic compound, we have to follow this formula. So 5 examples are given in our book. We take the first example. CH3CH double bond CH2. So as I told, at least one double bond will be there between the carbon atoms in alkenes. So in the first member, do you find any prefix? Do you find any substituent or a branch? No. So prefix represents what? Name of the substituents or branches. We no need to mention prefix. Okay, what is the root word? Root word is depending on number of carbon atoms in the longest chain. So this is straight chain compound. There are 3 carbon atoms. So the root word is prop. P-R-O-P. Prop is the root word of this alkene. Okay. Longest chain has 3 carbon atoms. Then primary suffix represents what? Whether a compound is saturated or unsaturated. Now it is an unsaturated compound, alkene. So primary suffix is ene. For alkane, we wrote it as ane. For this alkene, primary suffix will be ene. So all these basics we already completed in 11th lesson, fundamentals of organic chemistry. So we have a basic formula for writing UPAC nomenclature or UPAC name. Prefix plus root word plus primary suffix plus secondary suffix. So here we don't have any special functional group. We have only double bond. So we don't have branches or substituents in the first example. So 3 carbon atoms present. So root word is prop. And we have a double bond. So the primary suffix will be E. We don't have functional group. So we no need to mention the functional group. That means the secondary suffix. So UPOC nomenclature of first member is propene. Then take the second example. There are 4 carbon atoms in the longest chain. So what is the root word? Bute. And the primary suffix is ENE. It is an alkene. So primary suffix ENE. Secondary suffix will not be mentioned. We don't have any other functional groups except double bond. So for this second member, isomerism is possible. So double bond position can be changed so that we have to mention the position of double bond. So it takes second example, the position of double bond will be changed so that in UPOC nomenclature we have to mention the position of double bond. So no prefix, the root word is bute, primary suffix is ENE, the double bond is at the first carbon, so it is called bute 1E. How will you give the number, left to right or right to left? For the second example, will you give the number from left to right or right to left? Yes, we have to give the number from right to left because double bond will act as a functional group. So the carbon attached with the functional group should have the least number, so that we will start number from the last carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the head carbon or carbon attached with the functional group should have the least number, so that UPOC name of the second example is bute 1E. You take the third one. This is the isomer of second example. The same 4 carbon atoms, root word bute. We have a double bond, so primary suffix ENE, but the position of double bond is different. Now the double bond is present at second position, isn't it? Between second and third carbon, double bond is present. So UPOC name is bute 2E. Then you take fourth example. This is a branched chain. Okay, so this is not a straight chain. This is a branched chain. So according to UPOC rules, first we have to select the longest chain, and we have a substituent or a branch methyl group. How will you give the number, left to right or right to left? Left to right, right? Because carbon attached with double bond should have the lowest number, so that we start number from left. 1, 2, 3. So we have a substituent methyl, it is at second position. So 2-methyl, prefix is mentioned. Next, root word. So in the longest chain, 3 carbon atoms, root word prop. And what is the primary suffix? ENE. Double bond is present. So ENE is the primary suffix. No functional group. Secondary suffix will not be mentioned. And what is the position of double bond? First carbon. So this double bond is present between first and second carbon. We take the least number, number 1. So UPOC nomenclature of this fourth example is 2-methyl prop 1-ene. We take the fifth example. This is also a branched chain. So we select the longest chain. It contains 5 carbon atoms and we have a substituent or a branch. So we have a methyl group which is at third position. Okay, which is at third position. So we give number from left to right. Why? The double bond is present at the end of the chain. So the carbon attached with the double bond should have the lowest number, so that number is given from left to right. So we have a methyl group at third position. Substituent is indicated. Next, root word. Longest chain has 5 carbon atoms, root word pent. We have a double bond, primary suffix is ene. The position of double bond is 1. So the UPOC name of the fifth example is 3-methyl pent 1-ene. Okay. So all these we already studied. To remind, I have recalled. Next, isomerism. So as we studied in 11th lesson, there are two types of isomerisms: structural isomerism and stereoisomerism. So alkene exhibits both structural and stereoisomerism. You take the examples: but 1-ene, but 2-ene. So these two are called positional isomers, and the property is known as positional isomerism. We can explain that. First and the second compounds both are having the same molecular formula, C4H8, 4 carbon atoms and 8 hydrogen atoms. You can count it. So C4H8 is the molecular formula for first compound and the second compound. So both are straight chain compound. But where you find the difference? We find the difference in the position of double bond. So in compound 1, the double bond is present between first and second carbon. In the next example, double bond is present between second and third carbon. So compounds with the same molecular formula but different position for the functional group. So here double bond is behaving as a functional group. Because of the double bond, chemical reactions are taking place. So we don't have any alcohol, aldehyde, carboxylic acid. We don't have any special functional group. Double bond will behave as a functional group. So compounds with the same molecular formula but different position for the functional group, they are called positional isomers, and the property or phenomenon is known as positional isomerism. Then we take a first and third compound. First compound is 1-but-1-ene. Third compound is 2-methyl-prop-1-ene. What about general formula? Molecular formula: C4H8, 4 carbon atoms, 8 hydrogen atoms. So first compound and third compound are having same molecular formula but different chain. First example is straight chain compound. Third example is branched chain compound. So compounds with the same molecular formula but different chain or different carbon skeleton, they are called chain isomers, and the property is known as chain isomerism. So first and third are the examples of chain isomers. The same way we can take second and third. Both are having same molecular formula, C4H8, but different carbon skeleton or chain. So 2 and 3 are also chain isomers, and the property is known as chain isomerism. Next, stereoisomerism. Okay, so we have studied two examples or two types of structural isomerisms. One is positional isomerism exhibited by alkenes. Next one, chain isomerism exhibited by alkenes. Okay, next we move into stereoisomerism. So compounds with the same molecular formula but different arrangement of atoms in space, they are called stereoisomers, and the property is known as stereoisomerism. So there are two types of stereoisomerism. One is geometrical, another one is optical. Now this alkenes will exhibit geometrical isomerism. So the detailed study was already over. In lesson number 11, we already completed how alkenes are exhibiting geometrical isomerism. I just repeat it. So another name for geometrical isomerism is cis-trans isomerism, and which is responsible for this type of isomerism? The restricted rotation of double bond between the carbon atoms. You take the alkenes, at least one double bond will be present between the carbon atoms, and the rotation is not a free one. If you take alkanes, the carbon single bond carbon is having a free rotation, so we get different structures. We call them as a conformations, right? So different conformers or conformations available for alkane. Single bond between carbon can be rotated easily, but this double bond cannot be rotated easily. It is called restricted rotation. Okay, restricted rotation is in the sense cannot be rotated. So between the carbon atoms we have a rigid double bond which is not rotated easily. So due to this restricted rotation, isomerism is exhibited by alkene. This is called a geometrical isomerism or cis-trans isomerism. You take both the compounds, both are having the same molecular formula, C4H8, molecular formula same, but arrangement of atoms or groups will be different in space. In 3 dimensions arrangement will be different. Okay, so they are generally stereoisomers. Okay, how can we differentiate the isomer as cis isomer and trans isomer? So take first one. The similar hydrogen atoms are lying on the same side. Okay, they are on the same side like that. The similar methyl groups, this is called a but2ene. Okay, but2ene or 2-butene, hydrogen atoms lying on the same side, methyl groups are lying on the same side. So this arrangement is called cis isomer. So 2-butene or but2ene is denoted as cis 2-butene because the similar atoms or groups lying on the same side. Next, this is also but2ene. The similar hydrogen atoms are lying on opposite side. The same way, 2 similar methyl groups are lying on the opposite side. It is called a trans. So cis represents the same, trans represents opposite. So you take cis 2-butene and trans 2-butene, both are having same molecular formula C4H8, but arrangement of atoms and groups will be different in space. So these are geometrical isomers or cis-trans isomers, and the property is known as geometrical isomerism or cis-trans isomerism. Then how can we prepare these alkenes? First one, elimination reaction. So water molecule will be eliminated. The process is called a dehydration of alcohol. From the alcohol, water molecule will be eliminated. It is called a dehydration. Hydration is the addition of water. Dehydration is the removal of water. You take alcohol, when it is heated with excess of concentrated sulfuric acid at 430 to 440 Kelvin, water molecule will be eliminated. We will get ethene. This is the first member of alkene. And another method is passing the vapors of ethanol over alumina at 623 to 723 Kelvin. We will get ethene. UPOC name ethene. What is the common name? Ethylene. Second preparation method is a reduction process. So we are going to reduce alkynes. So this is but2ine or 2-butene. It can be reduced using different reducing agents. We take, this is a Lindlar's catalyst. Okay, calcium carbonate supported on palladium. So this is partially deactivated by sulfur or gasoline. So this is called a Lindlar's catalyst. One more question. So when reduction is taking place in the presence of this Lindlar's catalyst, we get cis 2-butene. So this is a stereospecific reaction. We are not getting simply but2ene. We get cis isomer. Selectively we get cis isomer. So this is called a stereospecific reaction. The product will be stereospecific. If we want to get trans isomer, trans 2-butene, we have to take some other reducing agent like a sodium in liquid ammonia. To take the same reactant 2-butene, in the presence of sodium in liquid ammonia, we get a trans isomer. So these two reduction processes are stereospecific in nature. If you want a cis isomer, you have to take Lindlar's catalyst. If you want a trans isomer, you have to take sodium in liquid ammonia. Then next is dehydrohalogenation process. Hydrohalogenation process means addition of hydrochloric acid or hydrobromic acid. So HF, HCl, HBr and H. These are called hydrogen halides. If these molecules are added, it is called hydrohalogenation. If this is removed, it is called dehydrohalogenation. So from alkyl halide, there will be elimination of hydrogen halides. Okay, you take N-propyl bromide, common name, UPAC name 1-bromopropane. This is treated with alcoholic potassium hydroxide. There is elimination of hydrogen halide. From the first carbon, it is called alpha carbon, bromine is leaving. From the second carbon, it is called the beta carbon, hydrogen is leaving. So hydrogen and bromine, two atoms are leaving, it is nothing but leaving of hydrogen bromide. Okay, so this is called a dehydrohalogenation process. We get prop-1-ene, simply propene as the product. Next preparation method, alkenes can be obtained from vicinal dihalides. Okay, it is called vicinal dihalides. So there are two type of dihalides, gem dihalides and vicinal dihalides. Gem dihalide means two halogen atoms will be attached with the same carbon atom. It is called gem dihalide. You take this one, two halogen atoms are attached with adjacent carbon atoms. Okay, first carbon and the second carbon. So vicinal dihalide means two halogen atoms will be attached with adjacent carbon atoms. So what is the UPAC name of this vicinal dihalide? 1,2-dibromoethane. Okay, or a common name ethylene dibromide. So this is warmed with zinc in the presence of methanol. There is an elimination of a salt. Zinc bromide will be eliminated with the formation of ethene. Next, Golb's electrolysis process. This method we already studied. It can be utilized for preparing alkane also. So for preparing alkane, we took monocarboxylic acid, isn't it? Sodium acetate was taken, 2 molecules of sodium acetate was taken. But for preparing alkenes, we take salt of dicarboxylic acid. So this is succinic acid, CH2COOH, CH2COOH. So hydrogen atoms are replaced by the potassium ion. So this is the potassium salt of succinic acid. Its name is potassium succinate. So we have taken potassium salt of dicarboxylic acid, succinic acid. So we do electrolysis process. The reaction is carried out in an electrolytic cell. So as we expect, alkene is liberated at anode. So first step, succinate ion will be formed. Next step, succinate ion will involve in decarboxylation. Carbon dioxide removal is called decarboxylation. So ethene will be liberated at anode. This is decarboxylation process. Next, physical properties of alkenes. So when you take lower members, propene or ethene or butene, so these first members are having low molecular mass, so they are present in gaseous state. At the same time, if you take next 14 members like pentene, hexene, heptene, so remaining 14 members when you take, they are liquids, and the higher members of alkenes are waxy solids. And generally alkenes are colorless and waterless, but one exception case is there, it is called ethene. The first member is having a sweet smell. Then variation of melting and boiling point, as we expect. When we move from top to bottom in the homologous series, ethene, propene, butene, pentene, hexene, heptene, when we move from top to bottom in the homologous series, gradually molecular mass increases, so melting and boiling point will be increased. And as we studied in alkanes, comparing straight chain alkene, branched chain alkene will have lower boiling point. Okay, then solubility. Generally, alkenes are soluble in non-polar solvents. It is easily soluble in organic solvents and slightly soluble in water. Okay, because of double bond, slightly soluble in water. So these are all physical properties of alkenes. So tomorrow we will discuss chemical properties of alkenes. Thank you.